What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to take a deep look at the Birdseye perk in Modern Warfare 2 to share exactly how it works, all of its little characteristics, to see if it's really worth using as an ultimate perk. And diving right in, let's first have a look at the description of this. With the Birdseye perk, the minimap is zoomed out, UAV and radar pings reveal enemy direction, and when you earn it, it activates a one-time local UAV sweep. So let's start this off with the minimap being zoomed out and how much of an impact you're going to be seeing here. And the first thing we can do here is just look at a side-by-side with me standing on the exact same spot on Shoot House. And on the left, this is before I earned Birdseye, whereas on the right, this is now after I earned Birdseye. So you can definitely see a much larger portion of the map, but just how much larger is this? Well, a better way to look at this is looking at the total map here. And as we can see right here, this is what you can see with the base mini-map without the Birdseye perk active. Then when the Birdseye perk is activated, we get a 50% increase to the total coverage of our mini-map. And you can see it now covers almost the entire map of Shoot House if you're standing near the middle, which is pretty crazy, and that definitely provides a great benefit. You can see a lot more detail on your mini-map. So that's the first benefit of this perk, and honestly, probably my favorite benefit of Birdseye. It just allows me to see a lot more detail just by glancing at the minimap. If I see somebody popping up on the radar, I can see exactly where they're positioned rather than just seeing them on the edge of my minimap and not really knowing how far away they actually are. As for the next characteristic of Birdseye, this is when an enemy appears on your radar, instead of just showing up as a diamond where you can't really see what direction they're looking, they will now show up just like your teammates but in red, so you can see what direction they're actually facing when they're pinged on the minimap. And this is exactly the type of thing that you see when using an advanced UAV, even if you're not using Birdseye. So in some ways, it kind of gives you free advanced UAV information just through regular UAVs. Although it is worth noting, unlike advanced UAVs, this isn't going to be real time. You're just going to be seeing these appear every time the minimap sweeps, or if the enemy fires an unsuppressed gun while a UAV is active. And this may seem great on the surface because you can see if an enemy is watching a particular angle, or at the very least you can see the direction that enemy is likely heading because it's going to be the direction they're looking in. However, there is one key downside to this as well, and that is you actually lose some potential information here. Without the Birdseye perk, when an enemy diamond appears on the minimap, you also get an elevation indicator. And this is what it looks like. When an enemy is below you and they show up on the minimap, there will be a little V below the diamond, indicating that that player is below you in elevation. If there is no little V at all, then that means that enemy is at least roughly on the same elevation as you. Whereas if the enemy is at a higher elevation to you, they will have a little inverted V or a hat above the diamond, letting you know that they're above you. With the Birdseye perk, by eliminating these diamonds and instead having those directional indicators, you will no longer get any indication of the player's elevation. And this especially comes into play with maps where there's like a two-story building, for instance. You won't necessarily know at a glance with your mini-map if that player is on the same level as you or on a different level. So there we go, just wanted to point out that it's not necessarily all upsides here, and you're technically losing at least a little bit of information by using this perk. However, I did want to explore this part a little bit deeper. I wanted to see what happens with its interaction with the Ghost perk, or an enemy that's using the Ghost perk. And as we can see here, if you have Birdseye, you call in a UAV, you're not going to see a Ghost user on the minimap, just like if you weren't using Birdseye. So it's not like this just counters the Ghost perk. However, of course, if they fire an unsuppressed gun, then they will be showing up, and they will still show up with a directional arrow for that. Additionally, if you call in an advanced UAV, just like without Birdseye, the enemy Ghost players will appear on the minimap. However, they'll still just be showing up as a diamond rather than a directional arrow. And you'll also only be seeing them pop up when they fire an unsuppressed gun or when you get a sweep on the minimap. So you don't get the real-time information like you will with all of the other players that aren't using Ghost. It's kind of funny though, regardless of whether or not you have Birdseye active, if you call an advanced UAV in, you won't be able to get any elevation indication on non-Ghost users, but if they are using the Ghost perk, you do get those elevation indicators. So you're actually gaining a little bit of extra information against Ghost players that could help you locate Ghost players a little more effectively in some situations compared to non-Ghost users. But that part really doesn't have anything to do with Birdseye. It's just something interesting I wanted to point out here. Now, in addition to all this, staying on the topic of the minimap, I just wanted to point out that Birdseye also works well with portable radars. If you throw that out there, you will be getting those directional indicators for enemies, as long as they're not using the Ghost perk and they're within the radius of your portable radar. so they often pair together quite nicely. And with that, we just have one other element of the Birdseye perk to cover here, and this is that on-earn portion, where it mentions that it activates one local UAV sweep when you earn this perk. So let's have a look at what this looks like, and as we can see right here, if you pay really close attention, the moment I earn Birdseye, not only does my minimap immediately zoom out, I also get a ping that originates from my character model outwards, and that will show you non-ghosted users on the map. It is worth noting, this ping will not ping ghosted users. As you can see very clearly there, I've got my bot account standing there with the ghost perk active, and he isn't pinged on the minimap. And it is also worth noting, this is literally just a one-time ping. And also, in the game's current state, you often can't even know exactly when that ping is going to occur. Sometimes you'll get that progress bar for your perks appear just before you earn it. Other times you won't. You'll just earn the perk suddenly, and there is no countdown or any indication that you were on the verge of that. So it kind of sucks because you don't really have any control over this one-time ping. And with that, that wraps it up for the breakdown of all of the stated characteristics of Birdseye. However, there is a very important hidden mechanic here that isn't mentioned anywhere in the description. And this is, every single time an enemy player calls in a UAV or an advanced UAV, you get one free sweep of the minimap for the enemy calling in their streak. And this is pretty crazy. I'm not too sure if this is a bug or if this is intentional and they just forgot to mention it in the description. But yeah, if you've got enemies calling in UAVs against you, you're gonna get that one free sweep against them. And that's actually a great upside with this perk, because oftentimes if you're having those UAVs called in against you, you and your team are probably not doing the best, especially if it's happening really frequently, and this just gives you that little bit of a leg up against those players that could now start snowballing into other streaks because they're getting their UAVs in the air. And with that, that's finally going to wrap it up for today's breakdown on the Birdseye perk in Modern Warfare 2. As for my thoughts on this perk and whether or not it's worth using, honestly, I do think there are generally better ultimate perks out there, like Quick Fix or Ghost. Having said that, I'd say Birdseye is probably my third choice out of the ultimate perks. And I do think it's best used if you're playing with a competent team. If you're partying up with friends, for instance, and you guys know that you're going to have a pretty steady stream of UAVs up in the air, then you're going to be able to take full advantage of the Birdseye perk. Otherwise, if you're playing in games where you or your teammates aren't able to get UAVs up on a consistent basis, then you're not really going to get the full benefits of Birdseye. Yes, you're going to get that zoomed out minimap, which is a nice benefit, and yes, you'll also get that single sweep every time an enemy calls in a UAV. But is that really going to be helping you more than something like Quick Fix or the Ghost perk? At least for me, the answer is generally no. So I don't want to say that Birdseye is a terrible perk or anything. I think there are some great benefits to using this, and I can definitely see why it would appeal to some people in some playstyles, for instance. But for me, I don't really see myself using this a whole lot. Now, of course, that is just my opinion of Birdseye, and this is where I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. What do you think about the Birdseye perk in Modern Warfare 2? And also, do you think it's a bug or intended design to get that free minimap sweep every time an enemy player calls in a UAV when you're using Birdseye? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.